There he is. He likes to make the entrance.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Got the DVDs there. If I was having to Steve, wish I would like to be really live, man.
Just calling us and so do a roll call. Alderman Dean.
Present.
Alderman Freeze. Present. Alderman Turner.
Here.
Alderman Hill.
Here.
Alderman Lewis.
Here.
Can I get a motion for approval of July 7th, 2026 meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, before we move on to tonight's agenda, we're gonna make a small amendment under special items. We'll let Mr. Jeff Hancock speak on a employment history or employment change. Can I get a motion to approve on tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, Mr. Hancock, would you please come to the podium, state your name?
Oh, okay, you got me on first. That's
You're on the
good.
very first thing, young
Oh,
man.
thank you, thank you. I want to report a couple things. One is I'm moving Steve off the plate here for a reason that he's just overwhelmed, and he's building a house and he's driving back and forth, and he lives over in my neighborhood, and you know, he's just, you know, he's mowing his yard and stuff. So I'm pulling him off. And if you recall, Mayor, when I met at the very beginning with the staff and you know, to talk about the deal, and at that time I presented some other people. And one of those is Marty Corcoran, and I have information on him. Marty works in our company, and interesting enough, he's got some land, I guess, just in Randolph County. He wanted the job anyway because it was close by. And so he's planning on coming Wednesday, and he'll do a great job. He's got, I don't know how many years. I've presented his resume. I've got a copy of his resume if you'd like. He's done the interim in Normandy, and he's just a great guy. I've known him for 40 years. Concerning the search, if you recall at the last meeting, you approved the job announcement. And the job announcement, but we hadn't done the brochure yet. And I know that you all are anxious on moving ahead, so we have started to move ahead. We placed the ad on the city website, and we moved it just because it takes about 4 or 5 weeks just to give people time. And I think I've talked to you before where we're going to advertise and all of that. I could be happy to talk about that, but I've got to get that going. Then the guy that does our brochure, who does a great job, he had a baby. He lives in Ohio, and I was concerned about him getting a draft. Well, the baby's fine, and so this is the profile that he has developed. It's a draft, and what I need from the city is to look that over. There is a change. I mentioned the change. You know, this was the old one. The deadline for applicants is Friday, September the 4th. We just moved it 1 week out because of this delay that we had. So anyway, he does good work, and be happy to answer any questions that you might have. But I would like you all look at that and get that back ASAP so we can use that in the webpage and people, because as we've talked before, they aren't necessarily, I mean, they're selling themselves, but you're selling your community, and this brochure helps you sell the community. I want to give you a heads up too, and I think I mentioned this before. This is kind of a side note. They aren't moving, city administrators. We just had the deadline for the city of Clinton And I've learned not to use Indeed, not to use another one, because I could come here and say, well, you've got a lot of resumes, but City of Clinton we had 12. But out of the 12, we've got 4 finalists, and they're doing the background right now, and then we'll move into interviews. So be happy to answer any questions you might have. So, but please, I don't know the process, Mayor, of getting this.
We can look at it tonight. And
Oh,
then-
that'd be
And
great.
then we'll get an answer back to you tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be great. Talk about that and keep in mind that the date has been pushed out a little bit, but that's all I have.
One quick comment on the posting and on the flyer. I think we misspelled personal leave. We spelled it personnel leave. And I think it's
On the
personal
what?
leave, not.
We're
So under minimum benefits,
Okay.
and salary, minimum benefits, it says 32 hours of personnel leave. I believe it's supposed to be personal leave.
personal.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's why I'm hiring other people, and I'm not a detailed guy like you are, Mr. Attorney. So, yeah, if you could just, write that down and any changes that you want to be made.
Think so?
Yeah, and we'll move along and then look forward to getting some applicants, and then in September, you all will get to interview.
Thanks, sir. All right, moving on to appointments and boards and commissions. Tony Ash, Ward 1. I see Mr. Ash is in the audience. Would you like to approach the podium, state your name? And your address, please.
Evening. Mr. Mayor, Council, thanks for having me again for round 2, I guess you'd say. Appreciate your time just to hear me and give me a chance to show you that, hey, I want to be here, be part of our community and do our part. Like I said, I've been up here since 2022. My wife, we live down along Lloyd Martin, just plugging away at life. I work with Hy-Vee Security now, and my wife's a realtor. We have lots of kids, and my wife grew up here, so that's kind of me in a nutshell right there. Like I said, any questions in regards to what you've read, what you heard, or?
Comments? All right, we'll call the vote.
I've got a few things
Sure.
I'd like to say before we vote. I've been part of this board for over a decade now. And in that time, we've had to fill several vacancies. In fact, that's how I got on, was someone who moved out of the district and out of the ward, and that's how I got appointed. But in all of the votes that we've never had a negative vote on someone that's willing to step in. This board has always been a very diverse one. Gender, race, sexual orientation, and politics. And I don't think we should turn away anyone that is willing to serve based on a few negative comments by people not willing to serve themselves, and or if there's any kind of personal vendetta going on. And the excuse of not knowing them really is an excuse. I didn't know any of you before you got on the board, or very, not well. Steve a little bit, yeah, but yes. This board should only have one agenda, and that's to do what's best for the city. So unless you've got some kind of evidence that this candidate would go against that agenda, I think we should welcome anyone that's willing to take the job. Especially since we're probably going to have to go through this again, since Alderman Beal has moved out of his ward.
I haven't moved yet, but
So, you know, it's an important job. It's a thankless job. And if Mr. Ash is willing to do it, I think we should welcome him. As you know, we've probably had to cancel more meetings in the last few months than in the 10 years that I've been, or 11 years that I've been on the board, simply because of a lack of quorum. So, I would put any personal biases aside and let's get this position filled.
Any other comments or questions? Call a vote. Alderman Freeze.
Nay.
Alderman Bill.
No.
Alderman Dean.
Nay.
Alderman Turner.
No.
And Alderman Lewis.
Aye.
Sorry, sir. Thank you. Scheduled public comments, Becky Brewer will not be here tonight, so mark that one off. And Susan Opperman. Mr. Susan Opperman, would you please approach the podium, state your name and your address?
Thank you, Mr. Slinker, for inviting me. His son and I had the same Chevy Avalanche truck, which is how we met at the fair. So we got to talking. Suzanne Opperman. I'm actually in Boone County. I'm not in the city of Columbia, but I am in District 44. And so if you have questions for Becky, I can also do that. But my whole thing is to educate people about the very sad state of Missouri healthcare. I'm a nurse practitioner. I cannot practice in the state without having to pay a physician for a contract. Anywhere from $12,000 to $54,000 a year. And they can have 6 of us. So this has been a big battle, and Missouri has the lowest amount of privileges for those of us with master's degrees, doctorate degrees, tons of certifications. We specialize, so glad you got your blood pressure checked today. I bet your wife was happy about that. Yeah. But Missouri is number 39 out of the 50 states in healthcare outcomes. And it's really bad. It's very bad. St. Louis is the highest mother, infant, child death rate in the country. So places like Boone County, where it can be a long ways from Hartsburg all the way up to get healthcare in Columbia, makes it a very difficult situation. We have 3 counties in the state that are not healthcare deserts, which means it takes people too long to get to healthcare. We've had 10 hospitals close in the last 10 years. 28 are on the brink of having to close. So our healthcare situation is in really bad state. And what I do is, during legislation, I'm in Jeff City almost every week, educating legislators about what it is that we do and why we need to be allowed to practice. All the states around us, nurse practitioners can be independent, all the states. So we have several thousand nurse practitioners every day that cross the state lines to practice to their full ability. And it's really sad. I feel very bad that this has gotten this situation. Questions?
Thanks, man. Thank you
I
very
just
much.
wanted to educate. That's all. From the first day of nursing school, that's what we're taught. Educate, educate, educate. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Is there current legislation pending that will rectify that? Something that,
Some of us have gotten together with a legal foundation and are suing the state for the status of where we are because it's unfair labor practice. But the physicians have the money to put into campaign funds we can't begin to touch. So, and there's a guy in Springfield making $300,000 a year from his 6 nurse practitioners, and he's retired. I don't know if any of you have been to clinics where, there's a nurse practitioner. We are taught to teach. We are taught to say, hey, what have you got going on? What are your symptoms? And to figure, I worked at the VA for 27 years in Columbia. I had a liver clinic. I can't tell you how many people I cured from their heartburn, even though they were taking one of the medications for that, because they simply took it with all their other meds in the morning. And it doesn't work that way. You have to take it on an empty stomach. and they come back and go, I can't believe it, I'm cured. It's instructions, it's education. Why is it you need to do this? Why do you take your thyroid medication in the morning before anything else? So that's what we're about, is helping people learn how to manage with what they've got going on. I'm a psych nurse practitioner. And I had a client tonight that if I could prescribe, I would have prescribed her something right then and there because she desperately needed it, but I can't. I have to send them to a primary care person or a psychiatry. Psychiatry takes almost a year to get an appointment. And if we were able to work, it would not be the case. As you can tell, this is like my favorite subject to go on. My family's like, okay, I tell them, okay, hang on, I've got to do my bit here. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to public hearing. At this time, we will open up to the floor for a public hearing on the proposal tax rate for 2026. Property tax rate, I'm sorry.
Who's taking this?
Just take the notes.
Right now, it's just public hearing to hear from the public.
Yeah.
Is my explain what it's about,
Want me to take a stab?
or what's going on?
Well, I mean, is it,
I
do you want to talk about the tax rate, Peggy?
I was just asking. It's a property tax rate for the city of Ashland for 2026. It's set every year in August, has to be set by September 1st. The state of Missouri auditor sends us the information, it's already set for us.
Yeah.
It's not something that, yeah.
What is the rate?
This year's 0.1754. Last year was a 0.1739. So basically 1/10, 2/10.
It's just for the city only, it's not for the school, library, none of those, it's
Right.
just for the city of
Gotcha.
Ashland.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's the only question we have. Give it one more minute. All right, we'll go ahead and close public hearing. Moving on to introduction to first readings, council vote number 2026-32, an ordinance establishing the property tax rate for the city of Ashland, Missouri for the year 2026. As Darla said, this is a set rate by Boone County, so do we have any questions? If you,
No, I don't. I just want to inform everybody else what's going on.
can we get a motion approving council bill number 2026-32, an ordinance establishing the property tax rate for the city of Ashland, Missouri, 2026.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Moving on to old business. Ordinance number 1566, an ordinance amending chapter 2 pursuant to meetings and procedures.
Mayor, I hate to interrupt. Excuse me, I can't talk. I hate to interrupt, but do you want to maybe do a second reading on
the
that?
tax rate?
Because the timing is very short. I don't think we can really wait till next, or 2 weeks to do it
You want to do it under old business?
wherever you want.
All right, we'll tag it under old business. Is that pop? Okay. All right. So we'll go back to chapter 2 real quick. We'll get that one knocked out and then we'll divvy back. Ordinance 1566, an ordinance to amend chapter 2 in the pursuant of meetings and procedures. Basically, this is just a second read on the changing the meeting time from 7 o'clock to 6:30. Any questions? That's all right. Can I get a motion to approve ordinance number 1566, an ordinance to amend chapter 2 is as to pursuant to meetings and procedures?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
All right, we'll do a second read on Council Bill number 2026-32, an ordinance establishing the property tax rate for the city of Ashland, Missouri for 2026. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Ordinance number 1567, ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ashland, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign the MPUA mutual aid agreement. I'm trying to think if I can remember what this one was.
Ms. Kevin's.
Yes, Kevin's report. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Would you like me to do a full rundown of the second reading?
If you could,
first?
please.
Okay. Any questions about the MPUA mutual agreement?
This is just the public utilities where from all around the state, they come in if we have disaster, right?
Yes, sir. Yep,
But also we go out.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and about that, just real quick, there's in the event of a call, again, the assistance response is voluntary from the city of Ashland. But if we do respond, we would be reimbursed through this program from the city who asks for help. So it's a zero loss kind of a thing. And likewise, it would be the same if we ask for help.
Any questions for Kevin? All right. Can I get a motion to approve ordinance number 1567, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ashland, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign the MPUA mutual aid agreement?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Ordinance number 1568, an ordinance of Ashland, Missouri, amending city code regarding parking on Main Street. Staff report.
Once again, I'll just give you a quick run through. As specified points south of Broadway, as it was in your packets, the map represents the area we want to identify as no parking zones due to the fact that the road does not meet criteria, which is 30 feet or wider to have parking on two sides of the street. So again, on the map, represents where we're gonna post no parking signs. I don't believe no parking signs are necessary south of Johnson Street, going south. So we're talking about 3 signs basically. And that's to address the issue of parking in front of the cafe on both sides of the street where it narrows down and becomes unsafe, where cars have to veer into the center lane.
Thanks. Any questions for staff? As soon as we pass this, how soon will the signs go up?
We have them, they're ready to
So,
stays, I would say this week, easily.
thank you, sir. Can I get a motion to approve an ordinance number 1568, an ordinance for the city of Ashland, Missouri, amending city code regarding parking on Main Street?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
We're on to new business, 2026-31, a resolution for the Board of Aldermen, Missouri, accepting the proposal from Advanced Brothers LLC for pavement presentation.
Thank you again. City staff has determined that a pavement preservation project is needed to, on several roads in town, to prolong the lifespan of the identified asphalt, because it's just asphalt roadways. Oftentimes in the past, asphalt roadways have been left to basically degrade to the point where they have to be mill and overlaid, which is exorbitantly expensive. So this is an effort to prolong the lifespan of bituminous roadways. This proposal includes 2 types of asphalt preservation. One is micro seal, which is a very thin emulsion layer of polymer and a mineral filler. And the second one is a cape seal. It's known as a cape seal, which is a thicker and more of a crack sealing product. The streets slated for micro seal are as follows: Martha Crump, Redwood Drive, Collins Lane, Meadowmere Drive, Circle Drive, and Parkview. You should have these map in your packet. The Cape Seal streets include Justin Lane, West Oaks Drive, Meadowmere View, and East Side Drive. This is funded from FY '26 Street Capital Improvement Fund, and we've talked about this in the workshops prior to. So this is the second hand. The first is the mill and overlay project, which is scheduled to begin, we hope, next month. And then this would be, also happen this year, we hope. It's been a little late getting this thing passed, but, it utilizes cooperative purchasing from Platte County Public Works bid, which this makes it so we don't have to go through sealed bid and all the bid process. So it's a piggyback bidding, we're utilizing from Platte County Public Works. Any questions about this? Yes, sir.
Have we been able to do any of this type of work previously in the last 5 years or so?
We have not.
Okay, that's what
It
I
has
thought.
not been done, and just to be clear, it's not a chip seal.
Right,
If you're familiar with a chip seal, I'm not a fan,
Yeah.
most people aren't.
and the chip seal is what we had on Henry Clay a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's really aggressive, it sheds the chips off
Right.
over and over, this is not that.
And
It's a smoother profile.
the passing of our most recent ballot issue where we got more funding for street projects is a big reason why we're able to do
That's
this.
exactly right, yeah, where in the past, we only could have done a mill and overlay, whereas now we can be proactive and start doing preservation and not just replacement.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Just, I know that we wouldn't know this specifically, but ballpark, how much longer do we expect the road to last once we do this? I mean,
Yeah, this will buy at least 7 years.
okay,
That's the, and there's a lot of lane miles here, so that's 7 years that we can kick that down the road. It creates a good look. I mean, it's a bad analogy, but like seal coating a driveway, it's similar to that. It's a much more resilient product than that, but it's the same sort of analogy where it'll preserve that, for many more years had you not have done that.
and I know that you probably know this also, not necessarily specifically, but what do you think the cost would be if we didn't do this? And
That is a good question. These roads, we've had them looked at and they're front for each product, for the Cape Seal and for the Micro Seal. These are great candidate roads. We looked at all the roads in town and with contractors, and it's tough to quantify, a negative, but
sure,
I would say easily 7 or 8 times
okay,
that amount. Obviously, petroleum and labor keeps going up every year. Tough to quantify, but it's a win-win every time you're able to do preservation rather than replacement.
And this follows along with what was recommended for our street master plan as well, so it's kind of sticking with that.
Absolutely it does.
okay. Any other questions?
Can I get a motion approving? Can I get a motion approving 2026-31, a resolution for the Board of Aldermen, Ashland, Missouri, accepting the proposal from Vance Brothers LLC for pavement preservation.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
All right,
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Ordinance number or new business under 2026-32, a resolution for the city of Ashland, Missouri, officially designating the name of the dog park area within the city Ashland's Community Park as Tough Memorial Park. Staff report, please. This is basically just naming the dog park. I mean,
It's never been done.
no, it's never been done. Any questions for staff? All right, I get a motion approving 2026-32, a resolution of the city of Ashland, Missouri, officially designating the name of the dog park to Tough Memorial Park.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-33, a resolution accepting the proposal for the influent WWTF pumping system replacement for the municipal equipment.
Mayor and board, got a long history on this one, dating back from last year when these pumps first failed the water treatment plant. So this is a proposed resolution for the award of a bid for the wastewater treatment plant headworks pump improvement project from municipal Pump Company of Earth City, Missouri, in the amount of $210,110. Remember, these were the Archimedes screw pumps. Just if you're keeping track at home. In an effort to upgrade the wastewater treatment plant headworks away from the troublesome screw pumps, a bid package was prepared and posted by Bartlett and West at the behest of the city. The three proposals were received and evaluated. Those total costs are summarized below in the packet. We had, again, three returns on the bids. One was Municipal Pump Company, its lowest bid. The $15,150 you're seeing there is an adder. I'll explain in just a second. Second was Enviroline, and third was Vanderveer Engineering. Each of those the proposals were very similar. Bid packets were issued, so you couldn't stray very far from the specifications. The only major difference was the pumps, the brand of pumps. For instance, a Cadillac, a Chevy, a Tesla, that kind of thing. So the big difference between these quotes is markup and the pump brand. So Municipal Pump Company, they rep a pump called a Sulzer or an ABS. It's a good quality pump. There are more expensive pumps, but between Bartlett and West and we've determined that it is the most bang for the buck. It's a quality, they're quality pumps. Basically, we are recommending the lowest bidder in this case. Any questions on this project?
I hear that. All right. I get a motion approving 2026-33, a resolution accepting the proposal for the Influent WWTF pump system replacement equipment. Have a second?
Second.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
2026-34, a resolution for the Board of Aldermen of Missouri to accept the quote from the Viola Water Technologies. Staff report, please.
Back to the water treatment plant again. We're seeking approval for the purchase of assorted parts and labor repair hours from Viola Water Technologies in the amount of $10,971.62. Ultraviolet light is used at the plant as to kill disease-causing pathogens in lieu of chlorine. Chlorine has negative byproducts called DHMs. I don't want to lose you, but basically the plant utilizes UV light to kill pathogens. It has a complicated control panel that has been in fault for over a year now. We've had electricians look at it, take cracks at it. We cannot get it out of fault mode. It does operate. The plant is in compliance, but it is not operating the way it's supposed to. So it's been determined that a specialist from the manufacturer is required to do a site visit, which is where most of this cost is coming from here, along with the three listed parts in the quote. The quote also includes on-site staff training for the city for the plant staff, which is fantastic because we've never had it. This is funded from the sewer and water treatment repairs and supplies budget line. That budget line is currently funded around $60,000. Short-term impact of this purchase is $10,971.62. And it shows in your packet outlines the parts that we know we're going to need, and then the field visit and also on-site training for this panel, which is a little in the weeds for us. It involves ladder logic and code. And I recommend approval. Any questions?
Can I get a motion approving 2026-34, a resolution for the Board of Aldermen to accept the quote from the, what you call it, Viola? Municipal Equipment, or Water Technologies.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
All right. 2026-35, a resolution accepting a quote on East Lloyd Martin Road culvert replacement. Staff report.
It's been Mayor and the board. So again, a resolution for the approval of a quote from C.L. Richardson for the installation of a culvert in the amount of $30,793.55. As you remember, a replacement culvert for Eagle Martin was previously board approved and purchased. The installation for this culvert went out for bid, and only one bid was submitted in the amount of $155,272.75. Bid was determined to be too costly, and city staff rejected that bid. A lower qualified open market quote that was obtained from city staff from C.L. Richardson is being forwarded for recommendation for approval in the amount of $30,795.55. I do have an update on scheduling, which is kind of important on this one too. So I reached out to both entities, the higher quote and the lower quote here locally at C.L. Richardson. C.L. Richardson states they can get or perform the install sometime in late August or early September. Now, the higher quote, much higher quote, I'm gonna add, they can do within 5 business days. Isn't that fun? So presumably, if the board felt like we needed to spend that extra money, you could reject this bid and make a proposal to accept the much higher bid. I just wanted to throw that out because scheduling has been an issue, but it's a big difference, not a small one, for sure. So again, the amount I'm recommending from C.L. Richardson is $30,795, and the only sealed bid we got back in return was $155,272.75. So I just wanted to throw that out for your information, but again, I'm recommending the much lower quote that was obtained through open market. In other words, I just got the quote for $30,000. And again, scheduling sometime late this month or early next month. But it's a terrible time to try and schedule people. Everybody's booked out, and it is the busy season for sure. So that is the issue at hand. Is there any other questions?
How come you didn't talk to me?
Mr. Garrett?
Just ask a question.
Anyway, so CL's gonna be that late.
I'm sorry?
CL's gonna be that late.
And I would imagine it'd be that way for anybody, but again, we only got the one bid back. No one's looking for any work. No one's looking for work, so there wasn't a lot of interest. And scheduling is tight. They anticipate the job to only be a day and a half to 2 days. If they get a lapse in their schedule or cancellation, they will do what they can do, but they can't make any promises other than regular scheduling, which is what we've heard late this month.
So we're only talking 3 to 4 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I realize it's disruption locally in the area. But I don't think we're losing as much commerce as we would, had it be, Henry Clay or something like that. I would, make other recommendations, but because it is a rural area and the number, the traffic volume that goes through it, I don't recommend it, honestly.
So I guess my question is, part of like the discussion that we had, like, or at least that I had with Steve, was that, this metal culvert was gonna be, $15,000 to $20,000, like, all in, versus like a box culvert being like 100 to 200,000. Seems to me, we bought the culvert itself for what, like 15,000 or something like that? 78.
Yeah, 7,000.
Okay, so we're at like 40 grand all in, like what's, like, now that we know it's gonna be this expensive to install, what's the actual difference in cost between this and doing the big box culvert that was talked about in the beginning?
So the box culvert, I've done one, just about, I did one in 2021. That took over a year. The engineering took 2 months. there's way more into it. Box culverts, this is, obviously the opposite of that. It's replacing what was there. I don't think we'd be done with the engineering drawings and the submittals yet, if we were to do a box culvert. One was not called for. We did go through our stormwater consultant, and it was determined there'd be no net benefit to a box culvert. I know that had been done in the past, and maybe that was the case in the Angel Lane instance, that maybe we needed more capacity, we needed more resilience there. It was looked at in detail in this case, and it was decided that you can if you want to, but there's no real reason to do that. And it would not definitely be installed this year, a box culvert. It's more like a bridge, not a box culvert. Any other questions on culvert install?
I don't have any questions. I think that the frustration with the public was this happened on June 7th. This year and get fixed at the end of August. And like you said, if it would have happened on Henry Clay, it would be a very different story. I just feel like as a board, I'm not putting any blame on city staff at all. It's just that I realize that government moves slowly. I wish there was a way that we could speed it up.
I'm not sticking pins here at all. I would just add that the lack of quorum slowed this down a couple times. Just
We
throwing it
could
out
look
there.
at increasing our limits that we allow staff to spend without our approval,
This is
but
it's a lot of money.
it's not normally done.
I don't know, wouldn't even recommend that. It's a lot of money.
Can I ask a question of one of the members of the audience at all? Is that possible?
Mr. Garrett?
Yeah.
Paul, you want to come to the podium, state your name and address?
Pardon me?
Would you like to come to the podium?
I got a question for
He's
you.
got a question for you.
Oh, my God.
You just stand, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Because my question is, when I talked to you, you were cutting through your land to get around.
Yes.
Are you still doing that since it's been fairly
People
dry?
driving around it every day.
Okay, so you have, I'm not sure what adjective you, but you have access
I
to your
have
lane
access
without
to
having
my
to drive all the
property.
way around miles?
But when it comes to moving equipment, it's pretty hard to go around.
Okay,
I got to go down the highway.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the culvert install?
Can I get a motion approving 2026-35, resolution accepting a quote on East Lloyd Martin culvert replacement?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman?
Aye.
Moving on to reports, just two things. We still have problems with e-bikes as far as traffic concerns. I had somebody post on Palomino that almost hit a child the other night because the child was driving too late at night and it was dark, no lights. So Chief Young and I have talked about this, and we are going to do a e-bike scooter training for the kids. Since people don't want to listen, might as well do it. We're going to offer that training and have them come and sign up for that. And the only other thing I have, Darla, if you would post Ward 1 Alderman position again, I would appreciate that. Thank you. That's my report. We do not have a city administrator report tonight. City attorney report.
Nothing to report.
Public Works directors.
Sorry, sir.
Public Works report.
Just give me thought. Thank you.
No problem.
A full week of landscaping activities were done recently in the park. This is under streets and parks maintenance section. Street maintenance 2 position is open and posted. We're going through applicants now. That opening was due to an internal transfer from the streets department to the wastewater treatment plant. Under stormwater, the stormwater mapping GIS inventory RFQs have all come in. And we're evaluating those proposals and making a selection. From that point on, we'll have to negotiate a contract within our budget of what we can get done, so that's gonna take a little bit. Again, we just went through the installation, approved the installation for the headworks pump projects. The installation for that project is out for bid right now, similar to the culvert. We bought the materials. The installation bid is out. We've gotten two bids back already. Bartlett and West is throwing that back out in an effort to try and get more bids for the install. Quick update on the plant. We got one last month on the damage that happened due to the storm. A structural engineer was on site July 29th to inspect the digester tank interior. They have identified some hairline cracks throughout the structure that were not of major concern. They're similar to shrinkage cracks. A similar course of action will follow for the inspection of other tanks when they're drained down and cleaned. And again, that's getting further and further away from the damaged area. So far, it's pretty good. The damage we had identified looks like that's the only damage. Other work at the plant is going on, is progressing as normal. The influence structure itself is largely complete, and cleanup has already begun down there, which is great, which means they're gonna leave someday. And the water department, the well 5, which is the tower near Henry Clay, chlorine booster pump failed in July. A replacement was obtained from Consolidated Water. We worked closely together with them. We got a pump from them. We're still waiting on what we own, so we'll find out. But they were Johnny on the spot. We appreciate those guys. And a leak detection water audit is being priced out in an effort to lower unaccounted for water percentage in our water distribution center. It's a little high. We got leaks out there and we need to find them. So we're looking for quotes for an official water audit, leak detection audit. And speaking of which, a water main leak detection is scheduled tonight at midnight on Oak Street. It'll be up from about midnight to maybe 1 a.m. If you've noticed, you've gone down Oak Street, water is always emitting from that area. It comes and it goes. We're basically going to shut that street down. To do that, we have to shut also parts of Johnson off. And then from Casey's to Oak, we have to isolate McDonald's, so we have to do this after 11 p.m. at least, 11:30. Casey's closes at midnight, so that's why we ended up at midnight. What we're basically doing is shutting all the mains off in the entire area to see if that area stops pushing water out of the cracks on Oak Street. Again, Oak Street is on our mill and overlay list for next month. So if we can't get it to dry, we're gonna have to skip it. We just can't lay asphalt on a wet road. So we'll see what happens tonight. That's all I got. Thank you.
Did you combine public works and water together?
Sir?
Did you combine public works?
Yes, sir, yeah. Jeff Miller from the Water Department is up.
Thank you. All right, moving on to Board of Aldermen, Alderman Dean.
Not much to report. We've got car wash moving along quite a bit. We've got some new houses that have gone up in Ward 1, which are good. I had shared through email previously, but I had a constituent reach out about some street confusion over in Palomino, I think. It's Meadowmere Drive and Meadowmere View, they intersect, and so they're getting mail mixed up. It's been a recurring issue for quite a while, so we wanted to know if we can maybe look at changing one of the names of the roads. I don't know what we can actually do for that, but just bringing it up so that we can address it. Outside of that, I have not much else to report.
Probably have to initiate that talk with
With
the
the
post
post
office.
office,
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, Darla, if we could reach out to them and talk to the post office about those two intersections as far as the naming or how we,
They don't name those.
I mean, I know, but they would do something with the mail as far as, or is it just the post person not paying attention?
So we could change, name one of those streets as long as we
It's
get a
very
significant.
complicated to change the name of the streets, because that changes their deeds, it changes
Right.
a lot of stuff.
And you gotta get pretty close to unanimous
That, those
approval.
those streets have been in there for a long, long time to
Right.
change them now.
Yeah, and she said that it's been an ongoing issue for a long time, and I'm sure it has, because they've been there a long time, right? So I don't think there's an easy fix for it.
There is a process. It's-
There's a process.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir. Alderman Turner?
Yeah, I just want to address a couple things that were said earlier. I don't think that anyone that voted no tonight has any personal vendetta against Mr. Ash. I think when you say that the only thing this board should be interested in doing is pushing the city forward, I think that you're insinuating that by voting no, that we weren't pushing the city forward. And that's just simply not the case. Obviously, there was concerns brought up, and, you know, we have to take that into account. You say you didn't know any of us when we came onto the board. Well, we were elected by our peers. We're trying to make a decision, and we're having to vote for 5,000 people. I just think that, I don't know how things have been done in the last 10 years that you've been on the board, but moving forward, we want to make sure that we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's, because it's led to a lot of lawsuits against the city in the last 10 years, so, for not doing those things. So, I think this board has the future of Ashland number one on its priority list, but, that's just my opinion. That's my report.
Alderman Freeze?
Mr. Public Works, couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
The RFQ you mentioned about stormwater, that you're getting bids and things like that, will that come back to us for approval, to approve that contract, or has that already been agreed in the budget?
It's been budgeted, yeah, and we're gonna basically negotiate a contract with a selected engineering firm or GIS firm in this case.
And
We
there's
have
no-
a fixed budget.
And there's no limits on what you guys can, what staff can agree to without board approval?
It will come back to the board, all contracts
Okay.
come back to the
All right, just want to
board.
make
Yeah.
sure.
It's a contract.
Second, great job on whoever got the sidewalk covered with the falling bricks this week. You guys worked very, very fast on that. Thank you very much. Gravel. Got some people talk to me about gravel. I don't know anything about gravel. Besides, I've driven gravel roads for a long time in my life and they always suck. Sorry for the language there. But as far as the gravel roads that we have, and I understand we do have a grader, do we have the skill set that can do crowns and ditches and all that stuff? And how often does that stuff need to be with the amount of traffic that are gravel roads inside the city limits?
Yes, so on the gravel roads we've had, probably in the last year, we've added about $12,000 in gravel on. We can certainly crown them. Like everything in public works, it comes down to hours. So, for instance, right now, we've got 3 street department employees. They do all the parks, all the roads, and that would also include the dirt roads. Ditching is another matter altogether. Those roads do need to be ditched, and that does affect the road. Preserving a dirt road, the ditching project itself would take about 3 weeks of everyone we have. We just haven't been able to commit that kind of labor between all the mowing and everything else needs to be done with the 3 employees we have that do that work. I absolutely agree it needs to be ditched, and it's part of the problem, but not all of it. Again, some of it is just labor and the division of that labor. But we have added gravel twice in the last year to the tune of, I think it's $12,000 worth of gravel. Could it be maintained to a higher level? Absolutely. Would it take more labor? Absolutely. Like everything else, it's a
I'm
joke.
gonna remember that comment tomorrow night in our discussion on Ashland, but for now. Last question for you on the Optimist Drive. I'm sure you probably saw Ernie's comment about how they're gonna redo their drive. They want to see if we can, if we do have a really bad pothole, that I'm assuming it's our responsibility. I know that whole stretch there is owned by like 6 different people and it's totally messed up, but just that section from the end of Henry Clay to where the Optimist property starts. Have you or anyone talked to Optimist Club at this point to kind of see if it, because they're gonna redo their drive all the way up to the property line, which of course is through the road there, about possibly getting our little small section there, because like I said, there's a pretty big pothole there. And that is a pretty well-traveled road, and the Optimists seem to do quite a bit. I don't think they'll be able to get it done before the rodeo, but.
There was a monster pothole there last Friday when that was brought to my attention. I think it's filmed, don't quote me.
Okay.
That was not
No.
today? No.
Dude, I hit it so hard going
Today?
both,
Okay,
Okay,
about bottom my.
maybe
Okay.
tomorrow. I know we
Truck
got,
out.
we were on Sarah. I didn't get over that one yet. That
Okay.
was big. It's been full of water, so
Yeah.
it kind of looks like water pools like the rest one, but it'll probably
well,
be.
does anybody here have a problem with at least discussing about possibly working with them to see what the cost would be to fix that? Because it's a small section, right?
Yeah, it's a couple, 6 feet.
It's 6 feet,
Yeah.
yeah, it's only 6 feet.
So
It's
in
possible.
theory, it'd be pretty expensive for us to just fix it, but like I
Yeah,
said,
do you know the timing of that?
I don't know.
I
Ernie's
honestly
pretty
don't
easy to
have it.
reach out to, so
A good optimist,
I'm sure Doris or I could have them
Contact.
reach out to you.
that's
We'll have them reach out to you.
so easy.
Okay.
You could lose a small kid in that thing.
It's pretty,
Yeah,
it's,
it's bad.
yeah, I'm surprised it's not more well known.
Yes, sir.
And then I have another question, but not for Kevin. That's the landlord utility thing that was on our agenda a couple meetings ago. Is that gonna come back to us, or what's the status of that?
The one that was tabled last time?
Yes, it will come back to you.
It will come back, okay. That was all I have.
On the bill?
I just echo what Sam said and say, I think everybody on the board has the best interest of Ashland at heart. We all care about the city, and we're responsible for voting for our members, not just voting yes all the time. So that's all I have to say.
Thanks. On Lewis.
I was contacted by a constituent about good old speed bumps. I know we've probably opened a can of worms by putting the one in. The one that I was approached about, though, was for red tail. Years and years ago,
Yeah.
that was the original speed bump that was placed. And we did vote to put that in. One of your predecessors decided to have it removed when it started aging. I think that original one was supposed to be temporary and they were supposed to get the permanent one put in. Never happened. So this constituent that contacted me was asking if we would have to vote on it to get that replaced, since we never did rescind
I'm
that.
glad you brought that up. These, like the two that are out now, like Red Tail, we're all temporary, so a concrete one can be put in. That is a tricky thing to do, and it's usually done by contractors.
Sure.
That can certainly be done if the board would so please, I can go out and get numbers to make Red Tail permanent.
Well, I don't think he was that concerned about being a concrete one.
Okay.
He just wants a temporary
Yeah,
replacement.
and you're right, I do have actually remnants of that. It's been absolutely torn apart.
Mhm.
What gets them is trailer jacks that aren't jacked up high enough. It'll tear your trailer jack off, but it'll also tear the hard rubber, temporary sections of the speed hump.
Right.
I have only a few pieces of it. I'm not sure why we kept them, but I'm like, yeah, there they are. They were heavily damaged. So far, we haven't had that luck with the ones we've had here in town now.
But I did mention this to Steve, but he may not have gotten it back to you, but
Yeah, I mean, we can
just
go.
the fact that, this person that called me is a former alderman, and so
Yeah. I
he was
mean,
pretty aware of, you know, the things that we
Those-
voted on.
both
So
of
we had,
those
we had
purposes.
approved it, we never approved to
Is that
remove
right?
it.
If that's the case, then, yeah. I
It
mean,
would just be a maintenance item then to have it replaced.
Was it, I'm sorry to take up your time here, was it voted on to replace it with a temporary or a permanent? Do you know? We could research that.
Yeah.
Why don't I research that and get back to you on that? 'Cause,
Right.
That.
It was
obviously-
never voted on to replace it. It was voted on to install it originally.
Yeah,
And it was never rescinded.
I see.
So
I
it
see.
should still be there. We never said we need to take it out.
I will, I'll revisit this. I can come back with proposals that will be above my spending limit, so we can talk about that again.
Are they about, what, 2,500?
For that narrower section, yeah, it's 2,500 to 3,000.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
so in the old days, you know, we would just throw out a strip of asphalt and that was the speed bump. And nobody's doing that anymore.
Right.
Because they're unsafe and cities got sued, you know, over them. And so that's why they've kind of moved to the concrete ones like you see all over in Columbia. But they're a lot more expensive.
I think these are rubberized that you're putting in.
Yeah.
And a lot of speed tables in Columbia now,
Yeah, no,
right at intersections,
But
this wide,
a crazy one.
yes.
Yeah, like 30 by 30 feet, usually right in the middle of intersections. We're talking like every 3 or 4 blocks in some neighborhoods in Columbia.
yes, and those are the concrete where it goes up.
Well, these are
flattens out.
asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah.
It flattens out and then
Yeah.
goes back down.
Yeah,
As opposed to just the bumps, which as you know, if you hit them and don't know they're there, you know.
yeah.
And that's why, they're just, even the rubber, I know what you're talking about with the rubberized ones. Some cities have actually gone to even temporary ones that they put in and take out. But none of the little small ones really work very well, are very safe or last. So, I mean, you just might wanna look at the whole issue.
Thanks, sir. All right, now we'll open up to general public for comments.
Public? I have one question.
Question or comment?
Here you made the contract with Dave Richardson. Where are you gonna put the dirt when you take the ditch, when you dig it out? You can't put it to the south side. So you're gonna have to put it on the north side on my property.
It's gonna be put on the road, sir.
Ain't the way I understood it.
Have you talked to Mr. Richards?
Yeah, so when you do that, do you take the tree out?
We have no plans to remove any trees.
Well, that tube was put in a long time before the tree was there. I mean, when you get into when you get into the bottom of the cover, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna find. You're gonna find 2 concrete abutments that held up the old bridge. It's holding the tube in its place.
Why don't we talk offline, sir?
You should have talked to me first. That's my
We'll
point.
talk offline.
All right, this time, no more open comments. We do not have to go into closed session tonight, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Oh.
Please.
Bryce, did you make that motion?
I think Sam
Sam
did
did.
it. I
Sam
seconded
did.
it.
Sometimes you're not looking up both of these.
Sometimes y'all sound
Yeah.
alike.
Every city's.
Don't say that about me, that's rude.